It's this term, I'm gonna be honest, it gets under my skin, that people seem to love to throw around. And you've probably heard it before. That phrase, oh, they're finding themselves. She's on a journey to find herself. He's on a journey to find himself. Granted, if you spoke to them and they specifically told you that that's what they were doing, okay, that's different. If you're just making that assumption, that bold accusation about that person based off how they move, it's condescending, it's belittling. You could care less about that person. You might not agree with this, but it can be seen as offensive. It's care less. The idea of finding yourself, that term in its essence, or when applied, it's not just some cheap punchline. It's not some casual term you just throw shade at. If you've never in a sense taken up the right to bear your own cross, if you've never truly taken ownership of your own life, then you're not qualified to speak on someone else's. Finding yourself is not a weekend project. It's not a quick trip overseas. Self-discovery is a very narrow path. Few even begin it. Fewer actually stay on it, because on that road, you lose people. You lose the respect of those who expected you to keep moving like them. You lose the comfort of the crowd. But what you gain, that's where the power is. You gain the respect of people who actually respect you. Your circle might be slim, but it's real and it's solid. Like a body, your body starts to lean out more. When you want to improve your health, you change your diet, you start exercising, you become more lean, you become more real and less lenient to BS. That's because lean reveals real. Bulk is just to attract clout. You should tell yourself that, remind yourself of that you're in a season where your body's leaning out, where your circles are leaning out, where everything that reflects who you are and what you stand for is now beginning to lean out as a result of you raising your standards. If this don't apply to you,
bring the fuck up my head,
then it may not be for you. To discover yourself is to respect yourself. In learning self-respect, you learn what real respect even means. You begin to see how deeply we're all connected. You begin to understand others more and life itself more. That's the paradox. The more you find yourself, the more you can truly see and respect others. This is real life lived. This is not some cliche or just trendy words. It's not an easy journey. It is a noble journey. So respect to those of you who have embraced your individual journey. Oddly, you know what I can respect? I can respect someone who runs off at the mouth, always has something to say.
Always got something to say. This chick always got something to say. Say what you want, don't get in the way. Say what you want, don't get in the way.
But when it's time, when it's necessary, they always give credit where credit is due. I can respect that. Like, it's one thing to be an arrogant noise talker. Nobody likes those type of individuals. But I respect someone who runs off at the mouth, but will also give credit where credit's due. That's a confident individual. You got to give credit in order to build credit. You might not receive it immediately. It might not come back in the same way from the same source. But if you keep giving it, it circulates. That's how you attain true equity. Knowledge is power. Knowledge of self is self-empowerment. A fool that is focused, a focused fool, will accomplish so much more than a distracted genius. Think about that. He's locked in. Confidence is built by compounding evidence, by proving to yourself over and over again that you are exactly who you say you are. Repetition. Laziness is just a deep desire for comfort disguised as rest. Sometimes the only thing holding us back is us. We create these BS narratives in our minds, and the one person we can never lie to is ourselves. So eventually we start believing the very stories we make up. Granted, some of those stories were influenced by others, someone else's opinion, someone else's life framework for our life. But whether we actually wanted to or not, we accepted them. We walked within the light of someone else's narratives, someone else's default perspective, spellboundedly, unknowingly, fitting ourselves into their frame.
Why?
It's easier to follow the framework than to create your own. The road less traveled, the beaten path. It's easier to follow the path that's already been beaten and laid out for you than it is to carve and etch out your own path. That's why the journey's narrow. It's like I'm just trying to get a piece of the action, yo. Let some drops fall on me. I just need a little piece of the action. I'm not looking for the whole thing right now. Ultimately, that's what I want, but I just want to get a piece. I just want to get my foot in the door. I just want to get my start. I just want to make progress in my own lane. I want to do my own thing in my own way. Yeah. So again, shout out to those of you that's on your own journey, paving your own course, following your own path, no longer sticking to the script. Sometimes familiarity can be like a drug. A person could be strung out on familiar and not even realize it. They get hooked on being in the comfort zone. Predictability. Ignorance is bliss. That's another term that people often like to use. It gets under my skin. I can't stand it because the same individuals who love to use that phrase the most, for many of them, they themselves always show themselves to be the most ignorant individuals. The biggest condemners are always themselves the biggest pretenders. It's in their nature. They gotta find fault in other people, let me calm down, to politically suppress the shiesty shit that they themselves are doing low key. They themselves act like they figured it all out. You might be in your 20s, you might be in your 30s, hell, you might be in your 40s, but you've not figured it out. You might live to be 100, so you damn sure haven't figured it out yet. You might have solved a piece of the puzzle. I'll give you that. You may have been able to lock into a particular pattern in the rhythm, within the rhythm, but you've not figured out the sum total of this piece. And that is okay. This podcast, this is me figuring it out. This is my legacy. This is me going through my process. This is my version of me figuring it out because I too have not figured it out entirely. This whole podcast serves as documentation of my process, and I'm enjoying the process, and I'm trusting and believing in the power of this process. Like, you know what I realize? Affirmations are like milestones sometimes. Not just any affirmation. Like, you can get the, the typical expected affirmations, the common affirmations. You look good. But then there's those affirmations that resonate with you. Like me personally, I love them cliffhanger affirmations, and I love it both ways. I love cliffhanger affirmations as well as cliffhanger critique. Because cliffhanger critique makes me search for more. Like, yo, okay, what am I not doing right? There's something I'm not doing right for this person to be able to say that. Cliffhanger affirmation, I'm like, damn, yo, what the frick am I doing that this person is loving so much? I want to do a little more of that. But it only does you well when it comes from the right source. And you know what the right source is or who the right source is. Because the right source is always someone you respect. That's the key. That's the crux. That's the big flex. That's the crucial catch. You only accept it when it comes from people you respect. Truth is a frequency. You just feel it. Like, you can't even explain truth. How do you explain truth to somebody? It's subjective to the individual. You feel it. It's a frequency. You just resonate it. You just know something's true. When it's true, when it's real, you feel it. You know, like, yeah, that's real. And you can't help but respect it at that point. Think about someone you respect for a moment. Not because of their status, not because of their titles. I'm talking about someone that you know one-on-one. It could be somebody that you're close with. It could be somebody you just frequent with. But you respect that person. You know, like, yo, that's a frick-wittable individual right there. Chances are you respect that person because you know that person respects you. They don't got to tell you they respect you. You know they respect you, and you know what level that they respect you to because you respect them to that same degree. Because, there's some people we respect, but we only respect them to a certain degree. Like, I don't really frick with that individual. I respect, this part about them, but as a whole, that person is not a frick-wittable individual. Not as it pertains to me. And this is where respect and loyalty kind of go hand in hand to a degree. Because someone that you respect, like I said before, you respect them because you know they respect you. Like, it's like a loyalty bond. It's like an unspoken loyalty bond. You know the kind of people that don't respect you because they come with that fluff. I believe one of the greatest keys in life is to keep wanting more, expecting more of yourself, demanding more from yourself. Eventually, that energy transcends outwardly. Because honestly, think about it. Why are you sitting around being satisfied, being satiated by the bare minimum, knowing that there's better out there? That's like continuing to eat garbage food after you already know what's in it. You've already learned. You're not just now coming to the understanding, you're not just now finding out, oh, this is bad, and if I eat this is, no, you know it's bad, but you're still continuing to eat that food. And that's how most people live their lives. Processed food, processed dreams, processed realities as a result of those processed dreams. The cookie cutter life. Here you go, it's already mapped out for you.
You don't even have to think.
Even friendships can be processed, surface level, political, convenient. When life hits you hard, that's when you find out how many of those friendships were truly real. Jordan Peterson said, have a mind that's open to everything, but attached to nothing. And he cooked with that one. Because if you want to absolutely reach your potential best, to experience everything life has to offer, you have to live by that principle. Community is great, but if you stay in the same environment for too long, if you stay in the same relationships or friendships for too long, community can quietly, subtly turn into codependency.
Creepy little bastard.
It's necessary to evaluate your circles from time to time. It's like purging, getting rid of old clothes in your home, old outfits, old stuff that's been stored in your home for a while. It's necessary to evaluate your circles from time to time, to ask yourself, who's feeding your growth and who's feeding off of it? Who's adding value to your journey? Who's comfortable with you where you are, and who's comfortable keeping you where you are? Because if you're really on a journey, if you really want to find yourself, you can't be afraid to leave behind old things, old ways, old people that keep you small. That's why the road to life is considered narrow. Like, when you're following what everyone else is doing, you become part of a big community. When you're doing what everyone else is doing, your circles are huge. But as you start to do your own thing, as you start to become your own self and take on your own
identity,
that circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you just become a singular individual. Because one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to detach, or that circle that was once a complete ring is going to now become perforated. Parts of that circle are going to begin to detach from you. A while back, I did a podcast where I talked about how business works. Think of 3 circles, 3 drawn circles. All right, one is a complete circle. The next one has perforated lines. It's a circle, but a circle constructed of small perforated lines. The last one is larger perforated lines, bigger gaps in between. And I said, this is how business works. The first year it starts off small. You got one job here, then you got a big old gap where you got no job. Then another job, then you got a bigger gap, then another job. And then as business starts to form, my bad, I'm going to tie this together in a minute, but as business continues to form for you, as you become better at your craft, at whatever it is you do, those larger gaps become smaller gaps. As you grow as an individual, the same thing happens, but in reverse. Your entourage, your friendship circles, the community to which you attach yourself to is like that complete circle. You're complete with that community. You're incomplete without that community. When you're part of that community, unbeknownst to yourself, you begin to, over time, develop a sense of loyalty to that community. Hey, I gotta be here. I gotta show up. This person needs me. That person needs me. That loyalty subtly can become a codependency to where it's like, without this, I'm nothing. Without this, I don't have anything. I need this community. What happens is you trade your identity as an individual for the loyalty, respect, security of the community, essentially. And okay, that may not be the case for all. If it does not apply to you, it's not for you. You become codependent on that community. Like, yo, I gotta have this community. Like, I'll be bored out my mind without this community. And that's where accountability has to come into play. And accountability has so many different faces. In one sense, accountability is, okay, I'm responsible for my life. Every decision leading up to where I currently am today got me to where I currently am today. That's accepting personal accountability. That's taking ownership. That's swallowing that pill, that horse pill, that big old gritty pill of truth. That's one face of it. But another face of accountability is, it's up to me to take my life in the direction I desire for my life to go into. Like, I can't expect someone else to do it for me. I can't expect it to just happen unless I'm doing something to make it happen. And then you start to reflect and you realize, you know what? There's some stuff I can correct about me. Now that accountability becomes applied. And this is where Les Brown's quote comes into play, where Les Brown said, man, it's a full-time job working on yourself. Because as you start to notice areas you can correct about yourself, you start going to work to correct them areas. Like, for some dudes, it might be working out. Like, man, I want a bigger chest, yo. Like, I need to hit them push-ups every single day. And you start focusing on hitting the push-ups every day. And it's like you become distracted by that. That distraction is subtle. So it's like it's not a big distraction to where you still can't be attached constantly to the community. And when I say community, I'm using that term interchangeably. It can mean friendship, it can mean relationship. It's just easier to sum it up as community for the purpose of this podcast, because it could be whatever. Insert whatever your point of view is. But it's a reasonable enough distraction to where it's like, okay, you've got this moment of peace to yourself. This is your moment. This is your thing. You're doing that. No one else is influencing you to do. No one's forcing you to do it. You just naturally want to do it on your own. Compounded over time, you got numerous areas of your life where that rhythm is being allowed to be played out. You're allowing yourself the freedom, the autonomy to allow that rhythm to play out. So you're growing. And then what happens is at times you get to a point where the community that you're part of either A, is not growing, or B, is not growing to the same degree that you're growing. Now, that's not to say that they need to be growing in the same way you're going. Don't get it confused. Not that they're not growing in the same way you're growing. They're not growing to the same degree in their own way. And not the case for everyone. No judgment, but you can sense it. The questioning is coming your way. Hey, why are you moving like this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You're getting that kind of energy. So like a pair of shoes you've outgrown like a pair of shoes you've outgrown over time, you feel that compression. You ain't freaking with nobody, but all of a sudden people are starting to frick with you. One thing I've learned, discomfort precedes growth. Like discomfort naturally coming your way sometimes is a great sign that you are growing. Freaking with folk has two faces as well. When I say you're not freaking with people, not from the nefarious point of view of, oh, I don't frick with this person, I don't frick with that person. No, you're not freaking with anybody because you're so distracted by doing your own thing, by growing in your own way. They can't see it, but it's got you so distracted, you become obsessed with it. Become obsessed with improving. I love that. So yeah, on your growth journey, you get to a point where you realize, wait a minute, everything that I was taught, not that it was taught with bad intention, a lot of it was perspective based off some people's perspectives. Some people's perspectives have created for them false realities. And if I be honest with myself, my perspective has created my reality up until this point, and I can't be sure of someone else's perspective. But one thing I can be sure of, if I look at the trajectory of my life, is me and my perspective. So my perspective has always worked for me, and if I'm a bet on anyone, I'm a bet on me. If you're gonna bet on anyone, bet on you, because you've spent your entire life with you. You've studied you know the rhythms of how your mind moves. You know what has worked in your favor and what hasn't. What philosophies have worked in your favor, have honestly worked in your favor, made you feel great, made you feel alive, made you feel like you had a sense of purpose, or like you was actually doing something in life, versus what stuff has not worked for you. Truth is the hardest pill to swallow. When you're part of a community for so long, when you're part of a relationship for so long, just any type of attachment, truth becomes, all right, I won't say it does, but it can become very diluted to a large degree. Subtly, unknowingly, it can start to become whatever it is for that other individual. A lot of times it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of a compromise. Truth becomes compromisable. Or it's like, you know what? Yeah, they're probably right. And for the sake of fighting, or for the sake of the relationship, I'm just going to go along to get along. But then you always feel the most liberated when you follow or apply your own truth. What is true to you? Your subjective truth. Maybe that's not the case for all, but for those who can relate, every time I follow my truth, things work out in my favor. It might not happen immediately. It might not happen when the spectators want to see it happen. but things always happen in my favor. I remember 10 years ago when I wanted to live the lifestyle that I live currently. Like I wanted to live that lifestyle like in the movies, like I'm talking about them good family movies like the Adam Sandler movies or like what was that one called? Yes Day. I don't think that was Adam Sandler, but the whole family's at home in the morning. Everybody, the sun is up, everybody's cooking breakfast and eating breakfast together before the parents go to work or the kids go to school. 10 plus years ago when I had to wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, I was, man, this life sucks. Or having to work overnight, it was like, yo, I want to live that lifestyle where people are at home with their kids, waking up when the sun comes up, going to work after the sun is up. Like I remember when I wanted to live that lifestyle, and it just happened like over time. But I'm here. It's true what TD Jakes said. He said, if you're not doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, it's going to be the thing that leads you to the thing. I think a critical component to that is you got to know yourself. And like, you got to really be accountable and really be honest with yourself. Because the more honest you are with yourself, the more likely you are to make an honest decision for yourself. Like, yo, I shouldn't be doing that. And not based off what other people tell me, but like, I know in doing that, it's not going to fulfill me. So I'm not going to give it my best energy. And I'm sure you can relate. Like, you know when it's something you really don't care to do, or it's something being done in a fashion that you don't care for it to be done in, like you don't give it your best energy. Like you can force yourself to try and give more energy, but you can't force yourself to give your best energy, because your best energy stems from passion. Your best energy stems from a desire to actually do what it is you're doing, not based off what somebody's telling you or forcing you to do, but based off like you actually feel this flame, this natural flame ignited within you to do whatever it is you're deciding to do. That's what I mean when I say you're not going to give it your best energy. Like if you don't desire to do it, you're not giving it that fire. It's not coming with that passion. It's like, you got to really be honest with yourself. That's the critical. Know thyself. Knowing yourself is being honest with yourself. Truly honest. Like not the external honest where it's like, yo, I got to do this. You know, I'm saying this, but I'm not really internally feeling this. I'm saying this because this is what people outside of me expect me to say, or expect me to do. This is how they expect me to move. But this isn't truly me. If I be honest with myself. Oh, but God wouldn't be pleased if I started honestly thinking like myself. God is multifaceted. So in one sense, it's what the external makes of it. Everybody has their own perspective of what God is, but if you pay close attention, everybody's perspective always works in their favor. Like, I can break the rules whenever I decide to. Nobody else can, but I can break the rules whenever I decide to. God knows my heart. Everybody's perspective of God is whatever they make of it. To base your perspective based off someone's external perspective, you're robbing yourself of raw power you freely own and are freely capable of tapping into freely at any moment.